Bonjour à tous and welcome to day 10 of Joy in Paris. This program is going by so fast. Today's weather was so terrible, but in the pouring rain we made it over to the museum called La Fabrique du Métro, which talks about the making of the Parisian metro system. Ironically, our guide Emily actually got stuck in the metro this morning for 30 minutes due to a power outage, but the museum guide Jean-Emmanuel was so funny and so knowledgeable and explained to us the steps behind the creation of the metro and how the metro is to be built.
Le tour, on fait la gare autour, on fait les murs, ensuite on construit au milieu, on met les petits boutons pour bien garder la structure stable, ensuite quand le tunnel il est passé, on va mettre des dalles et ça fait les étages.
We learned about the tunneliers, which are the big machines that are used to dig the tunnels for the subways. And again, with the focus on sustainability, we learned about how the minerals and dirt that were removed could be repurposed into bricks for roads and housing. There's also a construction of a station within the museum to show us how the new metro stations would look. This was really cool to see because they're pledging to have public art within the museums as well as the tiled bamboo ceilings to reduce noise pollution. The inside of the new metros are wider and larger than the originals. These metro systems are all electronic, and there are even USB ports and free Wi-Fi inside the train cars. All the trains and stations will now also be more accessible, which is something that the French metro system currently does not do a very good job of.
Il existe depuis 1900. Vous voyez, il y a des stations qui sont, on va parler, des stations un peu étonnantes.
Next, we looked at some exhibits about the careful design of the interior of the metro stations, including the chairs, the kind of maps, and even what kind of fonts the metro uses. This is a preschooler's rendition of the new Grand Paris Express. And we watched a little film about how the construction is currently going. There was a little art gallery with artists' interpretations of how these new metro stations would impact the community and look on the landscape. And when we went back outside, it was pouring rain. So instead of walking, we took the bus to our restaurant for lunch. The restaurant was called Les Feuilles de Chou, which directly translates to sheets of cabbage, referring to a newspaper that is badly written and has no content. And they even had their own little feuille de chou on the tables. Our professor told us about how artichokes were his least favorite thing as a kid, but these had an egg inside. We also tried this drink called a diabolo, which is basically like a French Shirley Temple, but the food was generally so good. I mean, look at this jiggly flan. And then we were off on our afternoon walk with Vincent. We went along the border of Paris, or the périphérique, and looked at the various ways Paris is looking to connect the inner city and its suburbs. This includes the park in which the Paris Philharmonic building is located, so we were back at the Paris Philharmonic building, and we even climbed up to the roof where there were some really, really beautiful views. And if you climb up, you have to go down, so we walked down all the stairs. The park around the Philharmonic even had a whole bamboo garden, which I did not expect. On the way back to the hotel, we saw some cool buildings and street art. But that was all for today. We called it a night early, and see you tomorrow.